Everybody, and welcome to my budgeting live. We have Danny from the Grapevine Allotment. Grapevine Garden, sorry. Oh, that's me naughty, sorry.
What did you say?
I said Grapevine Allotment.
Oh, it used to be called that, so everyone does that, so that's fine.
Okay, I don't feel so bad now.
No.
Hi Annette, how are you, darling? It's good to see you. So, Danny, today our topic is what on earth is going on and what does it mean for us?
I know.
Now, anyone who has been not living under a rock has been watching in amazement as things actually unfolded over here. And it's not stuff that you could ever make up. I mean, like, if you ever made a movie about what was going on, they'd have to actually calm it down, I think, to make it believable.
Yeah. I don't even know what we're going to do, to be honest. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Tiffany. And Janine. Hi, Janine. Sorry, darling. Okay, we got. Yeah, cool. All right. So I just thought that we would have a wee quick chat about exactly what has happened this week. So basically, what has happened? We ended up with a new Prime Minister about 46 days ago. At this point, 46 days ago, she came in and brought a new Chancellor with her. He was sacked after 2-3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Because he basically, their plan tanked the economy completely and really badly, to the point where the Bank of England had to go into emergency measures to stop a run on the pound, which had already started, which has now caused people with mortgages to go into a complete meltdown, and will have a lot of long-term effects for a lot of people. So then we got a new Chancellor at the beginning of the week. The beginning of the week or the end of last week? I'm sorry, I can't even think. Okay, because we've been through, at this point, we've had 4 chancellors in the last... Is it 4 chancellors in the last 2 years? Last year? I think in the last 12 months, there's been 4 chancellors, 3 home secretaries, and 3 prime ministers. Well, there will be. By the end of next week, there will be another prime minister. So that will be the 3rd one. So, yeah, it's basically the government is in complete meltdown. And honestly, it doesn't matter who gets in at this point. Nothing's going to get fixed unless there's a general election. So basically what we're facing at the moment are bigger bills because the Chancellor that came in with the Prime Minister reversed. Well, he put in a whole heap of stuff that tanked the economy. The new Chancellor's come in, reversed all of the stuff, including the cap on energy bills, which I just very quickly need to say that although they've been throwing around this number, £2,500, that is for the average home, 3-bedroom home, okay, with 2.4 kids and mum and dad living in it, okay? And it's only for people who are on direct debit. If you use under that, obviously you're not going to be paying that. And if you use over that, you're going to be paying more than 2,500 a year for your electric and gas. All right. That needs to be said, because I think a lot of people are grasping onto this number, thinking that's what they're going to be, only what they're going to have to pay. And it's really not true. So yeah, what they really need to put out is a number for kilowatt usage, so it makes it easier for everybody to understand that that's how much it's allowed to be, which I think is about 34p, if I remember right. It's 34p is the cap, so it's working out what your usage is from that point of what that number is. So yeah, so that's what it actually means, but that has now been reversed as well. It's only capped for the next 6 months instead of the next 2 years. So we have no idea what's going on whatsoever at the moment. So just quickly pop over to chat. Where to begin, Homestead? Hi, honey. Hi, Pawpaw. Pawpaw's Kitchen. Nicole. Mary Misfit. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, so there's all kinds of weirdness going on. So people are having to run around and try and figure out what they're going to do. And at the moment, no one knows what they're going to do. So I know that Danny works in the health industry.
I do, yeah.
Yep. Do you want to explain a little bit about that and kind of what you've seen and heard?
So yeah, I'm a student nurse, so obviously I'm seeing both sides of it, and God, even we're feeling the pinch, and I think it's worrying for everyone. And you know, whether or not I'm a student nurse or not, I think everyone from all aspects are going to feel this pinch, and I don't think people have realised that this winter is going to be tough, and I really don't think people are. I don't think our government has prepared us for what's ahead, and I think that's the worrying part. People think it's, you know, some are thinking it's a bit of a joke, and it's not.
No.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
We're coming into flu and coughs and cold seasons and illness and all that kind of thing. So the change of seasons and the cold, and you know, if people can't turn their heating on, it's just gonna.
Yeah, exactly, and it's gonna be worse than ever. And I see so many things on, like, you know, like the social media side where they're like, yeah, but they should open up more, you know, hospital. But there's no staff. There is no staff, and that's the thing. Like, people are targeting us, saying like, yeah, you should be opening up more, and you should be having more A&Es in your area. But everyone's leaving that industry because they feel let down, you know, from what's happened through the pandemic, and it's just it's tough, and it's even tougher for us now than it was before. So yeah.
Well, I mean, like, Brexit didn't help, did it? Really, let's be honest, because 30% of nurses were sent home because they didn't reach the monetary target of being able to stay here on a work visa, which frankly, the government pays the nurses' wages. So why don't they either lift that or drop the cap so that they can stay, so they've got the nurses? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't, it's like they're not making any sense at all, you know, because I mean, like, you guys have had 12 years of no proper
I haven't really, it hasn't affected me at all, but I'm sure it's going to in the future, you know. And I've got a bit of hope, because I always like to have a bit of hope, but
yes, of course,
I just think at the moment everyone's really worried, and because we haven't got a strong leadership there, I think that's where the big issue is. And you know, and I don't think, like, people are prepared to be budgeting, and that's the thing. Like, we say we're going to, but I don't think a lot of people are ready for that. Like, we've been spoilt and for years and years, and then now where they're saying actually you need to tighten your purse strings, I don't think people are ready to do it, and I don't think they
I don't think there's people who can tighten them any tighter than they
No.
already are.
Exactly.
I mean, they've already had them tight before the pandemic, and then everything hit, and then Brexit. You had Brexit, then the pandemic, and now this, and it's just a knock-on effect. So the people who were already tightening their purse strings before all of this are in a situation where they're choosing whether to eat or feed their kids, or whether to put the heating on, or whether to give their kids a bath, or all of these things. And it's just terrifying. I mean, for too long, food banks were seen by the government, from David Cameron's government. They actually decided that they were part of the budget, the social budget, and how they were going to deal with people who couldn't eat. So they would open up more food banks, when food banks are really a symptom of a very broken system. So we had this skyrocket of food banks open, and now they're all closing because people can't afford to give to them anymore.
Well, people can't afford to give anything to them. I know it's scary times, but
yeah, all we can do is what we can do at the end of the day, and
has Bloo gone?
I have no idea what just happened there. Apologies. That was just weird. I touched nothing, I promise.
I was like, am I still here?
Yeah, we're still here. It's just probably my that I've got some very old hamsters on a very creaky wheel running my internet. And that's possibly what it was, just for a second. So really sorry about that, guys. But yeah, why I do these is so that we can give people a few ideas and places that they might be able to go to get help if they need it. During the week, I do the videos so that I can maybe give people an idea on, how that they can preserve their own food. I mean, like, you grow it. I grow as much as I can, but we've just moved, so our whole growing season was thrown out of whack. But it's trying to give people a better idea and the skills to be able to, even if one thing, they can use one thing, and that helps. To me, it's worth doing. So that's kind of why I do what I'm doing here. So yeah,
I think there's a misconception of like what I do and everyone else who grows for certain things. Like, you can save so much money with so many things.
Yeah.
But then there's other things that you grow because you want, the freshness, and you want the better quality rather than what you would get in store. But there are things that people can grow, and people can, simple little things that they can do at home that would save them so much money. And I think, I personally think that it's a travesty that we live in a world where we rely on people to put food on our plates. And I get that it's more realistic because people want to be able to work and farm. And I understand that, but I just think it's a real shame that it took me 30 years to learn how to put a potato in the ground. And then I think that we're losing our our human talents of providing food for ourselves. And I think it's such a shame that I think that everyone should have that ability to be able to grow something if they wanted to, rather than it being a luxury or a hobby.
That's it. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And people like yourself, and people that I watch also, like Cloud Gardener, who's got just a balcony on like the gazillionth floor in the middle of an apartment building, and I'm surprised that thing doesn't collapse, to be honest. The amount of food and flowers and things he grows just on this little balcony on his apartment is amazing.
Yeah, like that side of it is, I'm not sure everyone's areas are different and all, but I mean, I'm in South Wales, and to have a plot here is I think it's like, for my whole grapevine garden plot, a year is, I think it's about £21 a year. Yeah, that's how much
it. I'm moving home. For those of you who don't know, I grew up in Wales. I am going home right now.
I know London can be a few £100s, and I think, God, how do you recuperate that cost?
Yeah,
so
that's kind of the price they are here in York.
Move to Wales, get yourself an allotment. But yeah, I think I pay for both my sites. I think it's about £40 for the both of them all year. So yeah.
Wow, that is so amazing. See, if I moved to Wales, I would have land. So as much as I would probably give up one of my pastures to make sure that other people had land. Do you know what I mean? And set them up as private allotments for families that didn't have that kind of, even 20 quid to give in to, do that. But that's just me and my highfalutin kind of ideas and stuff.
Yeah, but this is where I think that is changing. Like, I think it should be a given right that if you want to be able to grow, that it should be given, should be given to you. Or like, I know I only pay £20 a year, so I'm not going to complain about that. But I think it's terrible that other areas pay hundreds of pounds a year just for a hobby. And I don't know how they're going to. I really don't understand how people are going to afford the simpler things, and wages are not reflecting those luxuries that then they're not even luxuries. You know what I mean? They're staple diet things. And I'm lucky, like I'm like you, I preserve a lot of things, and I'm constant. I'm not just a seasonal gardener. Like, my channel consists of growing all year round. So I chose to do that way really because of my lifestyle. Like, and I don't want to substitute certain things, but being a student as well, I do work full time on top of being, a student, and I like the fact that sometimes I can go over, pick what I need, and it was free. There's a marginal cost for seeds, but it depends what you want. Like, it can cost a lot of money, like if you're buying food and compost and things like that, but you can grow in the ground. That is there. Everything's there.
What you bought now?
Stuff for Christmas. Will you stop? I'm live.
It's a big box.
I know. Bugger off. So that's Tanny. He's got the week off. That's my partner. Excuse me.
That's all right. That's real life.
It is real life. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I do appreciate what you're saying. I was actually listening.
Yeah, it's just like I think that people need to have those, those talents put back into them, where the skills that they need, like canning and preserving things. And we are in a throwaway culture where, if a lettuce has the outer leaves have gone a bit brown, we'll throw the whole thing. It's like, what? Like,
no,
not the real world. Like, that's not what the world should be like.
No, exactly right. And that's a lot of the recipes that I'm doing at the moment. Like, I'm doing a series on traditional preserving methods, because canning isn't a huge thing over here. We've been using traditional preserving methods for a very, very long time. So I'm doing that right now. And that'll probably be ongoing until I run out of things to preserve, which will be never. So, Yeah,
I was quite shocked though. Like, when I learned about canning, to even get the equipment for it here, it's hard. Like, it was hard for me to, but I love the fact that I've got enough in the cupboards now that could, last me a little while without even going to the shop. So I like that.
Exactly. Because like, if you look at things like what happened with lockdown and stuff,
Yeah.
You know, we had enough food in the house, so we didn't actually have to go to the shops.
Yeah.
So, and just from preserving things ourselves and having a little bit in the freezer, because we've got a very small freezer. It's only like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. It's a box. So, you know, and I tend to not want to put ingredients in it. I put meals in it, or half-made meals, rather than just ingredients. I try and preserve my ingredients in different ways, so I'm not taking up that space and I'm using it as a premium.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we should really have a look at chat for a second, because we're way behind. Okay, hi Audrey. Sorry, darling. I have been seeing you guys all come in. I'm so sorry. What have we got? We've got hang on. We've got, it's no better here in Perth. As of November, our mortgage will go up by $316 a month. That's a hell of a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot. See, over here, a lot of the mortgages are going up by £500, which is more than, I think, more than about 20 million people's monthly income in this country, which is pretty scary stuff. So yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Everyone's saying hello to each other. That's nice. Well done. Yes, back. Hubby and I are on government payments. Hubby is on the age pension and the bulk of his payment goes on the mortgage. So we live on $600 a fortnight for everything else. Yeah. And that's Australian dollars, guys. For those of you who don't know, it's Aussie dollars. And he is in Perth, Australia. So yeah. A one income family, but unfortunately hubby makes a couple of dollars too much to qualify for everything. Yes. This is where it all falls down, isn't it? Right? We've got people in this country that are working full time that still have to get benefits to top up their income because they're not earning enough money. So they have to get, you know, what's called the universal credit over here. And he started working and he is £200 a year, earning £200 too much for me to still have my disability payment. So yeah, that was cool. Hello, Mr. Tony. Tony of Kettle Kitchen. Hello, Ash. It's good to see you, mate. People have been conditioned for so long now, are lost on how to provide for themselves. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the things I want to say about this, because I know a lot of you have heard me say this before, but this is an argument that I've had with Jamie Oliver for years. He fought about the sugar tax. What he should have been fighting for was basic ingredients to make meals should have cost way less than the ready meals that you buy in the shops. You should be able to buy the basic ingredients to make those ready meals cheaper by at least 50% than buying the actual meal themselves. Because, yeah, it's just wrong. But, you know, it's all part of the machine. So, it's one of the reasons we decided to move in homestead. We used our savings for the fixer-upper property, so at least no mortgage or rent. That saves us. Awesome. See, Erica, from my little Welsh garden, put up a property today. And I sat here and wept. I'm not going to lie. I had tears running down my face because I wanted it.
Wow.
I did. I was sitting there going, I could go home. I could fix that house up.
Sorry, is she selling?
No, it's a property that's for sale in Wales. It's on the river. It's 12 acres. It's a 4-bedroom house. Definitely needs so much work. We would have to literally live in a yurt for probably 12 months while we did it up. Okay, that's how bad it is. All right. But 425,000.
Wow.
And I just sat there and went, I could put an orchard there and we could have like rolling pastures for the animals there. And that could be a hay field. And then we could do this. And it's got the outbuildings so we could set up workshops and stuff like that. Just like my whole head was just going, duk, 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 the ADHD brain. That's what it is. Okay, we need to get back to basics, start living like our grandparents did. Yep, there's a lot of people been saying this for a lot of years and nobody's been listening. Grow our own produce, cook and bake more from scratch. It's a huge learning curve, but well worth it. See, the thing is, when we were at school, it was compulsory. We had to do it. We had to do cooking. We had to do sewing. We had to do all of these things. We had to do home economics. It wasn't called cooking then. It was home economics. But everyone saw it as oh, it's sexist, and took it out. So now they've got cooking and sewing classes, but they do one term of each, and then they swap it for the first year of high school, and then you can choose to do it. But what they do is they go, we're going to make curry next week, so you need to find a recipe, bring in the ingredients and bring in the utensils, and then we'll cook it together here. Well, that's not teaching them anything, is it? It's not teaching them anything. Okay. We're working on our co-op or coop now, so it's chicken ready. I thought it was co-op. Sorry. Now so it's chicken ready for March. Oh, what is this? We've got a bot, if anyone is in thingy, because I don't think any of us here are interested in the best adult dating site. So if we've got a mod, can we get rid of that? It's just above this comment. Being in an urban environment, we aren't allowed to have chickens. Hence why I'm trying to convince hubby to downsize to a semi-rural area.
You know, the thing that Bloo about the chickens thing as well is that's pushing us out of it a bit as well, because even myself, I feel such a massive pinch with the chickens now. We're like, even buy some chickens or get battery hens now is harder and harder because the feed alone is ridiculous. Like in the last 6 or 7 months, my feed has doubled in price.
Wow.
And I know the cost of eggs in the shops are still really expensive, but the feed alone, it comes out of my budget, and it's so much, and yeah, they've doubled that as well. So to even feeding a chicken before didn't used to be that much of a pinch, but now, oh God, it's more than a sack of dog food now just for some chicken food. So yeah.
I mean, we're allowed to have 4 chickens here, but we've got a courtyard, right? So it's not really feasible, and it's not really fair on the chickens, to be fair. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we probably would have some, but again, it's what you can afford to do. You know, if we had a pasture and could put them out in a mobile tractor kind of thing, where they could run around and, have some space and be eating on the grass and stuff like that, and that would, we'd only have to use a very small proportion of chicken feed for them. That might be different. Do you know what I mean? But here, it's just not feasible, I don't think. Yeah. But yeah. Hi, where to begin? Hello. We're almost there, I think. Good morning from Texas. Yep. Hi, Pawpaw. Hi, Jane. Jane Osborne. I think people are realizing that about winter. Yeah. Oh.
There's some flowers.
Have I gone up too far now? I can't find my way back. Oh my God. Yeah, I seem to be. Hang on. We had to take a home economics and industrial arts. Yeah, exactly. Do you ferment your feed? I think that's a question for you.
I don't. I didn't even. No.
No.
I didn't even know the thing. So no.
Apparently, it's a really good way of spreading the feed out because they don't need as much of it.
Oh,
if it's fermented. So if you ferment the grain and such, because it starts to sprout as well, it's sort of like they're not eating as much of it, if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure how it works.
I do one thing I do I will look into that because that's something I've never even considered. But I do use a part of my, my growing space through the winter and autumn that do take a little bit of the pinch off. Like I'll grow a lot of crops that they can have, and they have that as a part of their staple, because I still want them to have greens. And so I am cautious because we've got different rules here I know than America. Like we're not, because of infection control here, like we're not really supposed to take food that's been cooked in the kitchen to our growing space and give to a chicken, because we could be passing back and forth bacteria. But so everything I grow on my plot that I don't need, I do give to the chickens. And to be fair, I'm quite lucky that a lot of my growers around me, they pop things over the fence as well for the chickens. And so I'm quite lucky. Yeah, I'm quite lucky. And and they can put it into the coop because obviously that's in cage, but they leave it there so I can pass it out. And I grow squashes and things like that. And my favorite thing, the only thing that I tend to take over is pumpkins and things. So if I go to the shops and they're sold off after Halloween, like for a few pence, I'll fill the car full of pumpkins because they store so well. And
absolutely.
Chickens love a pumpkin.
I actually saw a video recently where someone started off like with a couple of little eyes and a little mouth and let their chickens carve their pumpkin.
I can't remember where I've seen that as well, and apparently it's a thing. They kind of take the first part off and they let them peck through, and maybe I'll do that this year.
That would be really cool, actually, because I mean, it's a fun thing for them to do as well, isn't it? Because it's not always just about the food; it's about them, having something to do as well. Especially, like if they're locked up because of avian flu things and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, we're literally right on the edge of it now, and I've seen it coming down the country, and it's all over North England now, and Wales is right there. Like we're right, and I put mine in from now because I was it was an advisory, so I wouldn't want anything to happen to the girls. So sadly, I took that action because I don't want to. There's nothing worse than losing all your girls. So yeah.
No, I get that. I totally get that because I've seen it. I used to live on a small property with my kids when I was a single mum, and they were little, and we had it go through our coop. Now, our coop used to be a cross fowl coop because it was huge. It was like probably the size of your allotment, but it had everything was in all together. We used to call it like the Chicken Hilton because it had we had quail in there, we had chicken in there, we had a couple of turkeys in there, we had some ducks in there. Oh, wow. But it went through the whole lot of them. It went through them so badly that we got avian flu.
Oh wow.
And so I've watched it, I've had it, it's not fun. Just look after your birds is all I can say. It's not worth the risk. It really isn't, because it's heartbreaking.
So Audrey said that she wants chickens, so I've been researching how I might be able to maintain them. But I personally think that chickens are so easy to look after. There are certain ways you can do it, like layering and things in the coop. So you haven't got to keep cleaning them out because it forms like a fermented layer sort of, and then it's perfect for compost as well. And I use everything on my plot recycles and goes around in a circle. But I would personally think that chickens are one of the easiest things to look after. They don't want no fuss. They don't want no faff, and they're quite happy. And they as long as the wind's not on them and they got somewhere to go and sleep, they're happy. They're happy.
Annie's planning on winning the lotto next week. Move to Scotland, buy a big block of land, build 2 farmhouses, and we can be neighbours.
Where's Annie from?
Annie's from Perth.
Annie, you will regret that if you go from Perth to Scotland.
Darling.
You're going
and
from
at the moment, rural Scotland is not exactly the friendliest of places. Can I just say? My sister lives there, and It's not the friendliest of places at all right
Scotland
now.
is freezing as well. It's
Yeah.
so cold.
Absolutely freezing. And you'd be looking at doing gardening in a kind of Alaskan season. If you look at what Alaska has to do, that's what you'd have to do in Scotland for your growing season. Easy.
You know, they're tough up north, I tell you what.
Yeah, they are.
It's no wonder the Welsh smile, because we got a little bit easier, I think.
I think you definitely do. Definitely do. But yeah, I like the idea of being neighbours. But yeah, can we do that in Wales, please? It's a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
Okay. What have we got? Hi, Jace. Missed you coming in. Sorry, love. Okay. What's this? What's this? Jace said, I have 8 chickens here without a permit. We're not telling anyone anything. We won't tell them, mate. Seriously. See, we're allowed to have 4, but we are not allowed a rooster because we are an urban area, and our council will not allow cockles.
Same with us. Like, we can have up to 12. There's like a law where you're allowed to have 12 chickens or 1 pig or 1 goat on an allotment site. So no more than 12 per plot. So
you can have a pig on your allotment.
I could if I wanted to, but could you imagine? You've seen what my allotment looks like. It's very orderly. Could you imagine a pig? Could you imagine a pig on my? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure the viewers would absolutely love that, but they wouldn't. There's a video of my Jack Russell Charlie visiting the plot, and that video got so many views. But he was chaos, and I think a pig would be 10 times worse. I'd love one. I'd love a pig or a goat, but
I think honestly, having just 1 pig is a bit mean because they are very social creatures, and because it's an allotment and not your own farm or your own property kind of thing, they kind of need to have a pair so that they've got company.
They also don't practice no dig. They're not very good gardeners. They wouldn't appreciate the confinement of certain areas. So I think pigs in the grapevine garden. Maybe if I changed to the grapevine farm and I moved one
day. I've got a link on my page. So's Erica. You never know. Hi, Cherie. Good to see you. Oh, 30s and 40s at night in Kentucky. That's cold. Nope. You can keep that. Thank you very much. It hasn't got to that here yet. It's like, nope.
So Ashley said, I can't take my Jack Russell to my allotment, too many foxes. So
yes.
I'm guessing your Jack Russell will go after the foxes, or the other way around. Because
she'd go after him.
Oh wow. Oh no, Charlie would think everyone's he'd go with anything, Charlie. Like honest to God, if he's here, he's loyal. If that's why I've not got him in the room today, because he's normally sat here and he's so needy. But I think he'd run off him. He's a rubbish dog for those things.
Well, we've got a fox in our road. We've got a family of foxes actually that live in the churchyard just down the path, and one of them comes to visit us, but I haven't seen her for a few weeks. And I'm a little bit worried because when we first spotted her, she was fine, and then a week after we moved in, she'd obviously been hit by a car or something because she had an injured back leg. So we've been keeping an eye on her, and we put food out for her because we're nice like that. And Tanny, although he is a big growly thing, is actually a big softie. But he used to see her every morning at about 4 o'clock because he goes to work at about 4 o'clock every morning. Wow. But he hasn't seen her for weeks either, which is really sad, actually.
We have foxes here, but you know what? People say that foxes are ruthless, and there are certain aspects of a fox which are a bit naughty. Do you know what I mean? Like they kill everything and then they just come back and forth, whatever. But I
Yeah.
kind of think, as a human, we've got the responsibility of taking away some of that temptation. Like my coop is fox, rat, everything proof. Like I spent a lot of money on it, which I did, but it outweighed everything else where they're safe now. And once a fox knows something's there, you're dangling it on a string for them. So my advice, whoever said they're considering foxes, think about. My advice about chickens is it's not about keeping the chickens in, it's about making sure everything else can get in. And that's the biggest thing about having chickens is everything else wants them. I mean, everything like chickens, don't they? So
what I used to do, what I had around our chicken Hilton, was I actually dug a 3-foot trench around the whole thing, 3 foot deep, and I put a layer of chicken wire in a diagonal underneath, so that, because rats and stuff, I mean, it was in Australia, so we didn't really have foxes, but where we lived, we didn't have foxes. There are foxes about that have been introduced, but it was more rats were an issue. But because of the way it was built, they used to keep hitting the chicken wire and just gave up in the end.
Yeah, so like my coop's like, you'd look at my coop and you wouldn't think nothing of it, but it's actually fully encased in thick galvanized mesh all the way under. It's 2 foot down. Even though when you walk in, it's 2 foot down. That is meshed all the way around, and then I built everything else around the outside of it. So that's where the money went, because there's nothing worse than they get in and then they start taking the feed, and I can't afford feed now at the moment, so they're not eating it.
That's it. It's like, rude. I'm not feeding you lot. Bugger off.
They have everything else.
There's plenty of other things you could be eating. Leave my chickens alone.
They can have everything else on the plot. I don't mind them having a few things, but not the chicken feed. It's too expensive. Too expensive.
Just saying hello to Glenda at Grace and Fire. Hello, darling. Coyotes and raccoons are our problem, but we properly secured our coop. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. If anything comes from this, so I think it's inspired me to maybe create a video showing people how to do this budgeting with gardening and saving some money on food and stuff. So I'll let you know when that video's up anyway, and it'll be soon, because I think it's really important, especially where we're coming into winter now.
Yes.
You said those silly little things that you can do could make a big impact. Like I'm doing a cash flow today, and everything's for everything came from the plot. So yeah.
I mean, I think it's also teaching people you don't have to go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds to set up your garden. You don't.
No, you don't.
It's like there are ways that you can do it without all of that, and just being a little bit canny about where you're going and what you're doing. I mean, like, all our containers are basically flower buckets from the supermarkets. They didn't cost much. I mean, like, where we get them, they charge 99p for 8 of them, but there are supermarkets that will happily give them to you as well. So it's
I know the supermarket near me, the one that begins with a T. You can go there and they'll give you the floral buckets anyway, because they're like a packaging part of it as well. But that's the reason why I took on the extra plot, is because I was getting comments saying, yeah, but you say to save money, and my plot did cost a bit of money to create, because I wanted it that way.
Yeah.
But the second plot that I've just taken on is from January onwards is going to be massively budgeted and more realistic for people who want to start and not spend too much money on it. And it's all going to be on a budget.
No, absolutely. So. I mean, like, and one thing that I found, right? We've got friends that live across town, and they were house sitting some guinea pigs.
Yeah.
So now I have bin bags of guinea pig bedding.
Oh, they're the best.
Guinea pig bedding that I could just chuck on my garden without a problem. It didn't cost me anything, and they needed to get rid of it. So it was like, cool. Yeah,
there's a guy that has a plot near me, and he goes round and he knocks on people's doors and asks them for their green bin full of their green cuttings.
Yeah.
He says, like, I get that it goes to compost making anyway. He said, but I can benefit from it myself by using it on my compost heaps and things as well. And it's such a clever, you can be savvy. Like I've forever got a bucket out in the courtyard at the front.
Yeah.
And that's for my veg peelings. And once it's full of the top, I take it over to the plot and put it in. I think we just automatically throw things in the bin, and that's where we need to get. We need to get from the habit of thinking everything that goes in the bin just goes to a magical place and it could be used in something else.
Exactly. I mean, I know it can be difficult for some people, because obviously they don't have a lot of space and stuff like that. But there are like community gardens and stuff around the place where people would happily take your kitchen waste and put it on the compost, rather than it going into landfill or whatever. You'd probably be really surprised at who's around you who actually does do stuff like that. And there's always like groups like on Facebook and places like that just have a look as well. There was a thing that Jane did from that was a little compost bucket. Was it? I never remember the name of it.
Is it called Rikishi or
with Bokashi or? I don't want to say the wrong word because we could be in trouble. But
Bokashi.
Yeah,
Bokashi. There's levels of charcoal involved, I think, or something.
There's some kind of thing involved, but it's something that you can have in your flat, and it automatically turns everything like very, very quickly into, including meat waste, into compost, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Annie's Kitchen said we should do a collab on how to start a veggie garden on a budget. I'm happy to do that.
Let's do that. I've been trying to figure out a really good gardening collab, because obviously we've had the 5 things I'll grow and 5 things I'll never grow thing again. But it's always really hard to do collabs for gardening as well, because some people grow certain things and others grow other things and that kind of stuff. So, trying to find a couple of collabs, because we've got loads. Like, I don't know if you know about this, Danny, but, there's a group of us that have probably, between us, we have probably a collaboration a month.
Oh, wow.
Cooking collaborations a month that are going on at the moment. That, that you're most welcome to if you ever wanted to do some.
Have you seen my cooking?
I have seen your cooking. That's what I'm saying. Right? Steve's done a few of them. Okay,
Steve did got nothing on me. No, he is a good cook.
He's brilliant.
I don't mind. Maybe I'll get involved with it.
Yeah, but we're hoping to get a list together in the next couple of weeks of all the ones that are happening over the next 12 months as well, so that we can actually give people, this is the list as we know it at this point, so everybody can be organized and go, right, okay, so I might be able to do that one but not do that one, because we like to give people a chance to be organized maybe a couple of weeks beforehand or whatever, so that so they've got a chance to put the video up rather than being saying, next week we're going to be doing this. It's like,
I think, I think Jasper Pudding says small space garden would be great. I absolutely agree. I believe in, funny enough, I'm doing one in February. It's half recorded already because my courtyard is only about 10 foot by 10 by 12 foot space.
Yeah.
And I that's something I'm doing in February on my channel, is that I'm showing people, because people can't get allotments. They were on waiting lists, and even though I've got my 2 spaces, it's a bit, they're watching because they haven't got that ability to do it. So I think I'm going to do the same out there in February, and there is a few things planned for that as well, to show you how to have a mini kitchen garden outside, and that's where you save on those things, and they'll save on things like fuel to the supermarket, all those things that are going to cost so much. May as well just grow it in your garden. Lettuce, spring onions, and all those stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that you use, or the stuff that you're not buying because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's the stuff that I try and buy the most of, or try and grow the most of, is the stuff that I really miss, that I can't afford to really go out and get all the time. And that's the stuff that I try and grow. I mean, like, you know, we don't eat a lot of potatoes. There's no point in me growing a lot of potatoes unless I want a very specific type, you know, for something special or whatever. There's no real point in me doing that. So I try and grow things that are a little bit different, that I'm going to get some interest for myself out of, you know, and that, because, I mean, like, Cavallo Nero, okay, can I just say, is one of my favorite kale. Wow. I can't do curly kale. It's just, no. It's an autism thing. I just, like, I'm blaming it on that. I'm just saying, like, that is the thing. But I can do Cavallo Nero, but it takes up so much space to grow.
Yeah.
But you only get 6 leaves for £1.50 at the supermarket. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take up half my garden with that. That's fine. I'll do that. But they do grow really nicely in containers as well, and they only need a 10-litre pot. And a lot of the flower buckets are only 10-litre pots. So let's have a look. Kroger's give those flower buckets free. I've picked some up, and neighbours want a few as well. Yeah, absolutely. The waiting list has over 100 on the allotment. Yeah. Okay, wow. So there is a law in this country stating that if there are more than 12 people on a waiting list for allotments, then the local council have to find green space to be allotted for new allotments. The only problem with that is they don't have a time frame on it.
No, that's where the catch is.
They've just put a catch on it where they don't have to put a time frame. Around York, there's a lot of green space that's not used. Okay, like open field area that isn't used, that is owned by council, that could be technically used for allotments. We have over 800 people on the list at the moment. They believe that there's about 5 to 6 year wait for allotments here, and they're charging upwards of £200 for them.
I know.
And it's ridiculous at the end of the day. We have Aldi grocery stores here. They have household items. A few, yeah. They grow Asian greens and start a medicinal herb garden. Yes!
Oh, amazing. So what a little tip with Asian greens are that flea beetle and slugs and snails, they love them too much.
Yeah.
They're like a drug to them. But my advice, I've always done mine, and I've seen so many YouTubers do this since I showed it on my channel, and they all said, like, what a clever thing to do is that grow your Asian greens in like a hanging basket. You're not using those in the summer, in the winter and autumn, because you've used them for your flowers, you know. And if you grow them hanging up, the flea beetle don't get up, and they're perfect. They grow really well in hanging baskets. 4 or 5 Asian greens in there. Perfect.
Yeah. So I really want to start growing tatsoi. I love tatsoi because I love the way that it lies out. And they are gorgeous. They're just like this open green flower on the floor, you know, with like millions and millions and millions of layers. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, like I lived a lot of my life in Australia and did a lot of traveling around Southeast Asia. So a lot of the Asian greens I love. And I love to grow them as well. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't really got my garden started yet. We've had to. So last year, Tanny and I bought a greenhouse before we moved. A 12-foot by 8-foot greenhouse. We found it on Facebook for 80 quid. Bargain. Then we spent 3 days taking it down. And the lady who we got it from. Hang on a second. See you later, Glenda. Thank you so much, darling. Can we get the mods sorting this out, please? Hang on. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, no. Yeah, we need to sort this out. Hang on. report. Sorry. Getting it sorted as fast as I can.
I'll look at the comments while we're here. So I know someone mentioned like a tumbling composter. They're good in some ways, but they can also be bad in other ways. So make sure when you do it that you level it up perfectly. Because when you're tumbling, if it becomes too soggy and too much moisture, it becomes a bit of a bog in there. But you just need to be mindful of that if you're going to go in, don't think it's going to be a quick fix of, oh, we'll chuck everything in there, because you do need a little bit be a bit more mindful of them. But they are good, if you haven't got much space and you want to start off. Yeah, they're good for that, I suppose.
Yeah, but they are. The only thing is, can I just say that if you do have back issues, make sure it's on a stand.
Oh, they're so heavy.
They are so heavy, and they are really heavy to turn as well. So yeah, that's okay, Ash. Thanks, Tiff. Tiff, I've just spanned you, darling. So yeah, but thank you. So yeah, make sure it's on a stable stand, and that you can actually roll it, because otherwise you might end up with a little bit of a problem, especially if it's a stand that's on the floor rather than up at waist height. So you may have to put it on something that's stable so that it can be at a height that you can use. Yeah. Good grief. It's typical of all the days to get a bot.
Typical. Oh, I'm you and you know what they're like.
That's what it is. You've just added sexy to my channel, so it's like
I don't know about that. I haven't got my bob hat on.
It's all good.
So,
but yeah,
it is coming up to the time where I need to shoot off because I got a class.
That's all right, darling. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you all for making me so welcome, and I'll definitely be back again soon.
Awesome. So, yeah. And we'll do a proper gardening one.
Yeah, we'll do a proper gardening one, and we'll discuss about small gardens and budgeting garden and stuff again. We'll definitely do it.
Yeah. Right, so awesome.
I shall, as I always say, take care, guys, and I shall see you all again soon.
See you later, darling. Okay. Yay, there we go. So that was Danny from the Grapevine Garden. He's a very, very sweet, and we adore him, absolutely adore him and his channel. So if you haven't been to see his channel, please do go and follow him, because he is amazing. And his channel, honestly, is one of these ones that kind of went vroomf. But as you can see, he's just an everyday guy like the rest of us. So, we all adore him. So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah. So life is going to get very, very interesting over here, and gardening is one of the things that's going to help a lot of people, even if it's just having a few containers here and there and that kind of thing, of this and that. But every little bit helps right now. Every little bit helps. Now, one thing I did see recently that I thought was actually a really, really kind of cool idea was if you're pressed for getting compost, or you'll get pressed for getting soil and stuff for containers for your garden and such like. If you live in an urban environment or fairly close to a sort of semi-rural, but somewhere that's got a lot of green space, if you see molehills, take a bucket and scoop up the soil from the molehill. You're not going to hurt the mole, but what you are going to have is some really good soil to start growing whatever it is that you need to be growing. So, and it's a free source of soil. You're not taking it from anywhere you shouldn't be. It's just a little pile of dirt that especially in urban settings and such like, it can be very difficult, and the council will just go over it with a whole with the grass clippers at some point. So rather than doing that, taking the molehill and popping it in a bucket and taking it home with you is a different story. The other thing as well, being as it's autumn, fall, or whatever you want to call it, it's a great... Nay, Steve! Hurrah! You just missed Danny! Danny was here. So yeah, so that's an option. The other option is, because it's autumn, fall, whatever, around the green spaces in urban places, there's a lot of leaves that have dropped on the ground. Go and grab it and make your own. Make your own leaf mold for in your gardens as well, or even at home, and that kind of thing, you know, in your containers and stuff, just chucking leaves in them as well, because that's going to create more of a really good, you know, even in container garden, it's a really good thing just to pop in your pots. So you're feeding, it's got a slow release feed in it. Okay, Tom, you take it easy, darling. Have fun in the kitchen. You made me realize how fortunate we are here and take for granted most have plenty of growing space and how precious land is. Many want and don't have. Yeah. Tomato bread pudding. Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, like, there's lots of different ways that we can help ourselves. And yes, things are going to get a bit scary for a little while, but do you know what? At the end of the day, if we all stick together. Hey, Steve, Scotty, how you doing, darling? How are you? You have the Toms on the stove as you type. Ooh, nice. If we all stick together, right, and we keep sharing ideas, you know, hey, Joyce, you know, if we keep sharing our ideas, you know, one of those ideas just helps one person, it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? I grab loads of stinging nettles for making compost tea. You remind me that last year I made some compost tea in the spring of last year, and it's still sitting in a bucket in our shed, and I'm too scared to open it. I know how much it stinks. Oh, yes, really easy, darling. If you've got room, you can do it with pallets, or if you can use an old TARDIS compost bin, or even like if you can find an old, you know, just normal bin and just turn it upside down, cut the bottom off, put the lid on top, you know, that kind of thing. You can use those, or even just make a pile and chuck a tarp over the top. You know, that would be a way of doing it. You know, Mr. Steve would be the one to talk about this, though. Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve. If anyone wants to pop up and share ideas, okay, there's the link. But be aware that I'm only going to let you up if I actually know you. All right. So if you're random, or if you're a bot or something like that, I'm not going to bring you up. Okay. Yeah. Scotty is the compost king. But, you know, we've all got different ideas of ways to do things. Scotty, if you want to pop up, you're welcome to pop up, darling. Anyone who's got any ideas that they think that might help someone, pop on up and we'll have a chat, and, you know, let us know what you're doing, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, what Scott doesn't know about compost really isn't worth knowing. I'm not gonna lie. But whether he'll pop up or not, I don't know. But yeah, the link is there, guys. So if you want to pop up, you are welcome to pop up. I don't think there's anyone in chat that I wouldn't talk to. So, you know. getting out in the veggie garden is good for your mental health as well. Yes, it is, because there is stuff in the soil that adds to your serotonin levels, and it lifts your mood. And there's chemicals within the soil that are naturally naturally there, that actually do really good things for you. I think people don't understand that. We are very linked to the earth, and we are built to do things like dig around in the dirt and stuff like that, for so long. Like, I think mostly from about the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, there became this whole thing of spraying things with antibacterial wipes and not being dirty and not playing in the mud and not letting your kids go out and play in the dirt and all this kind of stuff, because they always had to be clean, and we ended up as a bunch of clean freaks because we were scared to death of any little bug. We ended up with a bunch of kids that really didn't have a very good immune system, that wasn't built really well, that, lost the ability to be able to think for themselves in a lot of respects, because they hadn't had that opportunity to go and be, fun and, enjoy themselves and use their imagination and problem solve for themselves when they were out. And then they're not touching the not touching the ground, so they were missing out on a lot of really good stuff, not to mention central heating and double glazing. Yes, central heating and double glazing. We are very, very, very blessed where we're living right now. I'm not gonna lie. Before we moved in, they put brand new double glazing in, which is almost an inch thick double glazed windows. Yes, molehills. Best tip I can give is really what Steve said and yourself regarding finding free, wild and clean local organic material, molehills, nettles, leaves, etc., asking supermarkets for organic matter. Yes. Also, here's one that you might not have thought of: going down to your local coffee shop and asking for their coffee grinds. See, because coffee grinds are really good for the garden. Also, those who do loose tea in the pot, have a chat to them, see if they'll keep those for you as well. Some of them will, because they just got to get rid of it at the end of the day. Barefoot walking is a brilliant therapy for lots of ailments. It is. I actually don't wear shoes unless I have to go out in public around people. Or the other reason that I will wear shoes is if I have a very busy day, and because I have ADHD, if I put my boots on, I know that the work day is happening. It's like a trigger to my brain that tells me that I have to keep going until I take those boots off. Once I take those boots off, 2 seconds of sitting on the couch and I am sparko. I'm not even kidding you. I am knocked out. Yes, material like cardboard, coffee granules, food waste like fruit and veg. Absolutely. So go talk to your local coffee houses. If you've got a little cafe near you, have a chat to them as well, because they're more than, Starbucks keep them bagged by the door. Not here, they don't. I wish they did. But, talk to them. My garden centre cafe attached to the allotments dump their coffee grounds off on a spare plot for all to use. That is cool. That is very, very cool. I know that there are some rules and regulations when it comes down to, places dumping stuff off and things like that, because it can be seen as fly tipping. So, always go in and have a chat to them and have your own containers for it as well. That they maybe can swap out for the ones that they've got, and then that kind of thing. But, just see how it goes. Always empty tea bags and coffee grounds in the garden. Yes. Okay, so my homegrown veg, is it homegrown veg? There's a channel, Homegrown Veg, I think. Now, you never see his face. You never see his face. You'll see his hands and you'll see his brew, or you'll see what he's doing, but you will never see his face. Lovely, lovely fella. Love him to pieces. But he grew potatoes in tea bags one year. He had 5 different pots in 5 different things. So he had wood chips in one, he had coffee grounds in another, he had tea bags in another, he had compost in another, and I think, what was in the other one? There was something else that was a little bit weird, but he grew potatoes in all of them. Just to see. You know, they do in some shops, you can take them as you want. Yeah, see, they don't encourage people to do things like that around here. But because they're a bit worried they'll take a table and chairs at the same time. Right. I have compost going to 1 part green, 2 parts brown. My brown is from wood chips, free from tree cutters, but takes longer. I have done the quick using leaves and dead brown grasses and cardboard. Yes. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. See, I could get on a list here. There is a list here for tree surgeons and stuff bringing wood chips to people's houses. The problem is they bring a truckload. Now, I can't use a truckload. I've got nowhere to keep them, as much as I would love to. Although, oh really? Macca's will give them out as well. That's kind of cool. I didn't know Macca's would give out their coffee grounds. That's kind of cool. Yeah, like a dumpster truckload. Exactly right. The only way I can think of. Oh, really? See, there is a list here that you can get on the list, right? Now, the only way that I can think of using them up is this, right? Now, we have a space out the back that has massive gravel on it, right? Massive, so massive that you can't walk on it barefoot, right? It's not like pebble rocks, you know, it's not, and it's sharp and it's horrible, right? I want to get rid of it. And I would like to put it out the front where Tani wants. See, I'm going to have the garden. We have a manhole in the middle of our front garden. So from behind the manhole upwards is going to be the garden. And from the manhole forwards is going to be gravelled off for, you know, for where Tani brings the van back from work and stuff like that. Can you pop his link in chat, Ash, please, darling, if you can? So the only thing I can think is to take that gravel from out the back, put it out the front, and then get the wood chips and put them out the back there, because I could walk on those barefoot without a problem. I might get the odd splinter, but But then we'd have wood chip. Well, would it take a whole dumpster load? I'm not sure if it would take a whole dumpster load. Because I've got 2 little paths in the front garden. 2. And I mean, like, they're 6-foot paths. Okay. That's it. I mean, I could do a layer of wood chips throughout the whole thing, which would work. And I could use some of the, but I'd need help. I couldn't do it all on my own. Homegrown veg. Yeah, a very down-to-earth approach to growing. I'm subscribed to him and thoroughly recommend people take a look at his channel. He's lovely. Go and check him out. I don't know if we've got a link. Have we got a link? If we can get a link in chat, that'd be awesome. You said germs can build immunity as long as it's not carried too far. Yeah, of course. Everything in moderation. As kids, we literally ate the dirt. You know, we were literally eating dirt. There's a website, USA-based, called Chip Drop. You register and ask for a free wood chip. Yes. But there are those that are more localized within the UK that you can have here as well. Glad you said it. Get back to the dirt. Yeah. Have a wrenchy doodad now. Interesting. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Because we had a bot come in. Yes, homegrown veg. Homegrown veg. Yeah, there's his link there. Ashley's just put it in chat for you guys. Kay Cottrell, Lake Bloomouth Homestead, does foot grounding, walking in the garden. Yeah, see, I followed Kay for a very, very long time. I'm not going to lie. I followed her from the time she did her loofah video. That's how long I've been following Kay for. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But she unsettled me a lot, and not in a good way. So I kind of have dropped off watching Kay for a while. Yeah, she was very unsettling. Yeah, but she's a lovely lady, and a lot of her earlier videos have got a wealth of information in them. Yeah. So, you know, but like I said, if anyone wants to pop up, say hello, have a chat about, you know, whatever, we can set the world to rights. We can talk about gardening. We can talk about whatever you like. You know, just let me know. Link is up. Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Really do appreciate it, darling. Yeah, so we've got the link up there. Ash has put it in for homegrown veg. Very, very down to earth guy. We'll just tell it how it is. You know, no muss, no fuss. He's great. And Tony's put up getchipdrop.com. Yes. I think that's the American link. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Fun and games. Right. So what have you guys been up to? Tell me about what you've had happening. What is going on for you guys? You know, I've had lots of emails this week from people who are struggling and not quite sure what to do and getting very overwhelmed. I do have quite a lot of friends who are neurodivergent, who have autism and ADHD as well, like myself, and have been finding themselves head pounding, which they haven't done since they were little kids, and very frustrated because they are that upset about things. Oh, Tony, that's awesome. Thank you so much. There is a UK link to free wood chips there in the chat. You made a noodle video. Yay! I wonder why that might be happening. You know, I'm still editing mine. You already know what's going on with me. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that's cool because, you know, it is what it is, you know, and we're all, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are in the world at the moment, to be fair. We're all kind of struggling. We're all trying to just contain ourselves and what we're doing. Working on homemade pasta this weekend for the first time. That is awesome. Are you on the first day of Noodle November, Steve? Brilliant. That is so cool. That is so cool. Me have been busy planting and gaming. Hey, what are you playing? Jace, what are you playing? What are you playing, dude? I need to know. Because, you know, my name is Blue, and I'm a hardcore gamer. And I'm, you know, that's what I do when I'm not around doing stuff for YouTube. I used to stream on Conan. Cool. I haven't actually played Conan. I'm not gonna lie, but I do play Ark Survivor Evolved. I do play 7 Days to Die. I do have miscreated up at the moment. And Valheim is, oh God, what have I done? Valheim, the new sort of like Viking survival crafting game. I have that one as well. See, people think that gamers don't do all this stuff. You know, people do this stuff. Gamers do this stuff. You know, do you know why? Because we already play a surviving crafting game. What we're doing is doing what we do in the game, but for real. We do it. He's a hardcore collab king. Just saying. Wait till you see my Noodle November recipe. We'll be using a very Aussie ingredient. Ooh, I can't wait for that. Last games I played were the Ultima and Dungeon Master series. Oh, they were awesome. Your hardcore friend, he is. You have a Conan server at the moment? Oh my God. Next few months, I'll swap it again for Ark. Swap servers and games every few months. Yeah. I totally get it. Ark is brilliant, though, because, like, it just has everything that I love. Oh, see you later, Scotty. Take it easy, honey. Because, you know, I get to build my house. I get to forage around for food. I get to, you know, make different things. And then I get to ride around on a T-Rex. So, you know, life is good in Ark when you're not having some other dinosaur chew on your ankles, you know. I lay the wood chips throughout the beds as walkways, all kinds of using, even if the chips sit for a few years. Yes, absolutely it does. Collab King Tony. Yep. Aww. Oh, watch it, Tiffany on X. Oh my God. Nice. That's so cool. Oh, you guys, you make me giggle. Oh my goodness. Steve. Dude. Oh my goodness. You would have been there a while spinning that stuff, I tell you. It is coarse as all get out. And really short. It's not as long as you'd think it is. Yeah, so did my stream stop? Am I here still? Guys? Am I still here? Yeah, definitely an oldie but a goodie. Okay, I'll just check in because this says I've been live and recording for 3.5 minutes and that there's nobody watching. So I don't know what happened, but it's another glitch like earlier. So I'm like sitting here going, okay. All right, dude, take it easy. Thank you so much for dropping in. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're having fun. Put 10p in the meter. Yeah, mate. Yeah. I might have to feed the hamsters, eh? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So chaos abounds over here. But you know, chaos abounds everywhere in the world, let's be honest. But you know, and with chaos comes a little bit of uncertainty for people. But you know what? If we keep doing what we're doing, if we keep sharing ideas, if we keep meeting up like this, you know, and putting stuff out there and putting ideas out there, and like I said, if one idea helps one person, it's worth it. You know, if it makes life that little bit easier for somebody, it's worth it. So like I said, I'm doing a lot of videos at the moment. Been canning this week, 70 jars yesterday, mating rabbits and fall gardening. Woohoo! Wow. That's a lot of jars of food, man. That's a lot of jars of food. Totally get it, darling. Janine, you're welcome all the time. Yeah. So, you know, at the moment I'm doing this series. I've started a series on traditional preserving methods. Okay. So every time I preserve something in the way that I preserve it, I will be putting it out here. So, you know, yeah, exactly. You never know who you might impact, you know. So some of my videos are going to be longer than others because I'm going to put a little bit more effort into putting a little bit more detail in it, because obviously I don't want anyone to get hurt or sick or anything like that. And I want people to get it right the first time, because a lot of the stuff, you know, it can be expensive. You know, ingredients are expensive, let's be honest. And the last thing you want is to wreck a very expensive piece of meat or something if you're, you know, curing it and stuff like that. So I'm going to be putting a little bit of effort into some of these videos so that they're going to be a little bit longer than others. But, you know, the information's going to be there. It's going to be proper information from beginning to end. So, you know, some of the videos are going to take longer than others, obviously, because of, like, you know, some meat ones are going to not come out till next year. Let's be fair, because it's going to take that long for the whole curing process to take place. But I'm trying to get out a preservation video 1 a week at the moment. I cannot hold to that. Okay. And I will say that now, because, you know, obviously there's health issues and stuff that I need to take into consideration, but, you know, I'm going to try and get those happening, and also videos on how to use leftover stuff that you have in the fridge, and knowing how to use something, just because, as Danny said earlier, you know, people chuck something out because it's got a little mark on it. Don't do it, you know. There is this media platform that has great information to view as you need to, when you need to possibly learn something, just saying, really, is there? At the moment, one of the Asian supermarkets near me has 3 packets of pasta for 99p. Yeah, grab them. Grab them. That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you. And to be honest, like, I put one of my very first videos out this week. I did it on I really do appreciate it, though, darling. And you know, if I can teach something to somebody who's got an ingredient that they don't know what to do with it, you know, and they've got a lot of it for some reason, you know, and they only know 1 or 2 ways to use it, at least I can show them a different way as well, so that they don't have to feel like they're using up lids or jars or something like that they're using for something else. Do you know what I mean? That have been, you know. Oh, Tiffany, I really do appreciate that, darling. It does mean a lot to me. It really, really does. It really, really does. So, yeah, there is a video out that I put out this morning on mushrooms in oil. So because I managed to get 2 of those massive 2.5 kilo trays of mushrooms from the market that I went to earlier in the week, for £3. £1.50 for each tray, for 2.5 kilos trays of mushrooms. And I just grabbed them. Because you can't do it. I mean, like, yes, occasionally, and you guys have seen it, I have managed to be able to get to the grocery store and they've had reduced mushrooms. They tend to drop them down to about 17 pence a packet if you're lucky, or 20p a packet over here. And I will grab as many as I can get at that point, you know, so that I can do, you know, I can do things with them, because they're so expensive. They're getting ridiculous. And for me, someone who eats predominantly plant-based food, mushrooms are a big source of protein for me, you know. So having them in all kinds of different ways is really, really important. Researching different methods of preserving if you don't have a dehydrator, yes. See, one of the things that you are really lucky with, Annie, is that you live in Perth, Australia. You have the sun. And if you have an Asian grocery store anywhere close to you, they may have some bamboo baskets that are pretty cheap. Hello. Oh, someone's arrived. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I was just saying to Annie, she's got she's got solar energy in her garden because she lives in Australia, which means she doesn't need a dehydrator because she can put everything out on racks outside. I wouldn't put anything major on top of it, though. If you've got old fly screen or something like that, if you're a little bit worried about the flies, I wouldn't really worry about flies. It's not a big issue, to be honest, when you're dehydrating vegetables. But if you want to, you can put a little bit of fly screen over the top of it. And I know it's fairly cheap over there, so it might be worthwhile doing.
Right.
The
man, the myth, the legend.
I know, right? I did a hay box cook, didn't have stock cubes, so I used a couple of mushroom kappa soups instead, and it was great. Yeah, see, look.
Oh.
You use what you got at the end of the day.
That's one thing I think I wanted to really make sure, because I've been listening to you guys. Sorry, life happens, you know how it goes.
That's
but
okay. Yeah.
Just because a recipe calls for something doesn't mean you can't manipulate it so it fits what you got, what you have available, the means you have in doing it. I seen a post the other day from Darcy over at Purposeful Pantry, who she's primarily a dehydrating channel, but she put a thing up where you can convert cooking times for, say it says to cook a roast for 30 minutes. I know nobody would ever cook a roast for 30 minutes, but converting it to use it in a slow cooker so that you can manipulate a recipe so that you can fit whatever device you have available. Taking the cream of the mushroom cup of soups stuff. You don't have to have the seasonings and the spices. You can use what you have on hand. So.
Exactly right. I mean, that's kind of what I did with my mushroom in oil video. I explained that I don't have exactly what it says in the recipe. So I'm going to use what I got, and these are the options that you can use. So, just because you don't have a thing doesn't mean you have to go out and spend 30, 40 quid on ingredients to get those things. Use what you have. The only thing I will say that if you are doing pickles with something as delicate as mushrooms, don't use malt vinegar. Don't do it.
Ew, that doesn't even sound good.
Yeah, no, don't use the brown vinegar. If you can use apple cider vinegar, maybe white vinegar if you have to at a push, but please don't use malt vinegar because you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it. It will be so astringent and it will just take over completely.
Right.
But yeah, and the same with oils. If you can't afford olive oil, that's fine. Just get something like rapeseed oil. It's really, 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 really cheap. But don't use sunflower oil.
Why not sunflower oil? Curiosity.
Because of the taste. It doesn't. Okay. You can use it to make mayo, but you wouldn't use it to make a vinaigrette because of the flavor of it. It tastes like chip fat. Do you know what I mean?
So it's kind of like when you see a recipe that says olive oil and use extra virgin olive oil, it's going to throw the flavor off.
The blended stuff. I mean, like honestly, like the 5 litre tin that I bought yesterday or the day before yesterday, right, cost me 30 quid. All right. If I got that as a whole thing of olive oil, I'm looking at 30, 40, 50 pounds.
Right.
I ain't paying it. It's not happening. So I got the blended one that is half olive oil and half rapeseed oil. It's still a subtle oil that you can use for pretty much anything. So you can use it for preserving, you can use it in your salads, you can use it for all kinds of cooking, that kind of stuff, but it's not going to overpower what you're doing. Whereas if you use EVO, extra virgin olive oil, that would be way too much in your face, I think, as well.
Right.
You know, or
Isn't-
sunflower oil, stuff like that would be just like, oh no.
Isn't
No.
the standard for your extra virgin olive oil that is more of a finishing oil, not a cooking with oil typically?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's in small bottles and it's
Right.
hugely expensive.
Yes.
You know?
I think where you were hitting on, I think one of the things I love about your channel is you show people how to do things on a budget, on the cheap, but still get the same effect you would if you went and spent the $50 versus the $10, okay?
Yeah.
Or quid or pound, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that we all need to do, and going back to the title on your show today, what on earth is going on?
Yes.
We have to take a different approach to how we do things. And if that means modifying, you know, just like I seen somebody say that one of the local Asian stores has pasta for 3 packages for 99 cents. You may have to change what you do to get what you want, but it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice the flavor. That's the end result.
Yeah.
There's ways around it. So
exactly.
I got a dog issue. I'll be right back. Hold on.
That's okay. I made my second batch of sliced beetroot yesterday using apple cider vinegar, water, and honey. The first batch was brilliant. Nice. Okay, Audrey, take it easy, darling. Hello, Seeker. This lovely man, Mr. Seeker, came to visit me yesterday. Actually, for reals. He came to visit me and he brought me presents. He brought me big pots for my trees. So I'm very, very chuffed. So my trees can have an upgrade of pot for the next growing season, which will be great. So yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've always said to you guys, right? Look at where you're shopping. Look at where you're shopping. Okay, if you want to get Asian ingredients, you don't go to the local supermarket. You go to where they sell the Asian ingredients. So where the Asian people will go to buy the Asian ingredients, okay? Because they will buy them as they would a normal ingredient from a supermarket at those prices, okay? Because they'll be cheap, because they'll be normal, because that is what they bring in. You go to the supermarket, it's a specialty item. So they're going to charge you for a specialty item. So you go to different places and you go and find the stuff and you find it in the places where it's going to be the cheapest because that's where it's supposed to be, you know? That's just me. So, yeah. But, you know, when we've got a few websites over here that have short dated or seconds or words are hard right now. Hang on. Where they test new flavors of test flavors of different things, where you get weird Kit Kats and weird sauces and stuff like that.
So it's
not
like
a normal thing.
demo
So
products or prototype products or things
Yeah,
like that.
those things. But you can
Okay.
buy them on the really cheap, like from places like I've done unboxings from, like Approved Foods and stuff like that. And I found a new one called Matutus. So I will put a link to that one below, because that's actually got quite a few really reasonably priced things this month, which would be quite useful for some people who want to put some stuff aside for Christmas. Yep. So if you want to buy different packets of crisps and stuff like that, have something a bit different, or chips or whatever you want to call them, you know. So, but they've got them on the cheap. The big.
Hello, Seeker.
There you
not
go.
A specialty item. I am not. I am just owning.
Seeker's a specialty item.
There you go. I think, you know, the other thing I was going to throw out there too, don't, as you can, because I know everybody budgets and buys at different times, different ways, and different approaches to it. But
yeah,
I would recommend trying to do extra where you can. If you can buy an extra package of pasta right now, buy it. If you can buy an extra bag of rice right now, buy it. If you can get an extra package of toilet paper. Heaven forbid we're talking the toilet paper issue again. But the reality is that we don't know where things are going to go. And I'm not here to fear mong or scare anybody. I just want to make sure we're all trying to do a little bit extra where we can.
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. Hey, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Lisa, Miss Lisa. Hello, darling. How you doing?
It's Miss Lisa.
Miss Lisa. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, like, I'm not a big one for going in for offers. I will say that now, because a lot of the offers, if you have a look at the price of the offer, they're not that much of an offer.
No.
Okay.
Or the sizes have been shrunk down on the product.
Yes. Now, one of the biggest ones that you will see that with are the Christmas boxes of sweets. Okay. So if you've got the Cadbury's like celebrations or heroes or things like that, the boxes are getting smaller every year.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, they're the size of me, you know, and they were big tin. Now, if you want to get that size tin, it's going to cost you £15 to £20.
Yeah.
Whereas the normal little box, they've actually come down in size again this year. They are probably about an inch smaller than they were, and they're still charging £4 to £5 each for them. But you know,
what is this? Sorry. What is this I see in the chat that you're beating people with wet celery now?
What? I was telling Blue about our pantry and that the room was around here is known as the wash house and how much stuff was in there. Tani had to stop her beating me with a stick of wet celery. Yeah. So
sorry.
Seeker has an incredibly big garden and front and back, and he likes to tease me with it because his front garden is the size of his house.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and his back garden is 3 times the size of his house.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like he taunts me with it. He does
it seems like it works quite well, I will say.
It does work quite well. Yeah, it really does. Don't waste the celery. I won't. I promise. I promise.
But yeah, I mean the other thing that goes in with what I mean, don't waste the celery. I know was a humorous back to what was said there, but the other thing I think we need to start moving ourselves into is how do you and again I'm back to the manipulation or adapting a recipe. Yes. What other things can I use for fillers that are inexpensive that I normally wouldn't use? And I'm just throwing it out as an example.
Exactly.
If you normally use, say, carrot, celery, and onions as standard, I don't want to use that one. Yeah. But let's say you do a soup and you normally do potatoes, carrots, and celery in addition to the onion. Think about other tubers that are out there that might be cheaper right now or in season that you can.
You just don't have them, but you might have some parsnip, or you might have some celeriac. You might have, some sweet potato or something like that. You might have all kinds of things in there, even radishes. Now, I know a lot of people look at the little round salad radishes and think, oh yeah, I can only have those as salad. No, you can't.
Right. No.
They are one of the nicest things cooked. You can roast them. You can stir fry them. You can braise them. You can do all kinds of things with them. And they are just as nice in soup and all kinds of things as any other kind of root vegetable. So,
I agree with Lisa too, because squash is underrated, and right now, at least here in the U.S., it's highly in season and lots of it. So,
hang on, trying to find it all. There we go. Yeah. So yes, squash is underrated. It's very underrated. Yeah. So around where Seeker lives as well, a lot of the farmers, they will have piles of the stuff that the supermarkets don't want left in their fields. And if you go and ask them, they will quite happily let you go and take as much as you bloody well want, as long as you don't leave a mess.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's great.
So if you do live anywhere near farmers that do grow for supermarkets, go and talk to them.
Or Seeker in general.
They don't want to see their crops rotting away in the field.
Right.
They don't want to see that either. You know, so if you're going to, they will let you take a carload and they don't care because they're getting rid of it at the end of the day, you know?
And I think the other thing that goes with it is what Lisa just said there. You know, consider if you can't at a decent price, purchase a larger amount so that you can put it away. There's another storage item.
After Halloween, all the pumpkins got dropped down to stupid, silly prices. Get as many as you can. Those things keep. They are built to keep. You know, buy as many as you can. Like 12 or something. Then you got one a month.
Right.
You know?
But you can do so many things with it, and help me here because I know I'm going to miss something. But I know in the way we do things, I can fresh use, I can freeze, I can there's some other things I can do with it, but I mean,
you can and make your own like pumpkin purees and stuff like that, or you know, so that you can put them into your pumpkin breads and all of that kind of stuff. Do it yourself, you know. Sure, I probably wouldn't be pressure canning it, but I can water bath it. I can hot pack it. You know, I would do it that way, so I'm still got it. You know.
It's looking at it's looking at what's there in front of you. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think that's what's going to help a lot of people. Go with what's in season, what there's abundance of. Like you said, go to farms that grow for supermarkets. If they're going to get rid of it and don't mind you coming to get it, then go get it. Why not? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got years worth of leeks too small or too big for supermarkets. Just cost a little petrol and evenings blanching and bagging.
There you go.
It's simple. Guilty of buying out cheap pumpkins for my animals. Another way to supplement feed, like Danny was saying.
Feel guilty about it.
We were talking about it earlier, actually. You know, hi Al, how you doing, darling? We were talking earlier about you know, so buying up the Halloween pumpkins to feed his chickens to supplement their feed because the feed prices have doubled over here.
Well, and that's the thing. This is when we're talking about food, we're not just talking about human consumption. We're also talking about the animals we've got to use, which give us human consumption, or your pets, or whatever it may be. It doesn't mean that you have to. Well, I can get 8 pounds of pumpkins over here for me and my family, but I'm still going to suffer because I got to pay $80 a bag for feed over here. Don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Supplement all the food.
Sorry. Yeah. Exactly. So you want to look at it and go, right, okay, what can I do with that? What can I do with that? And if you've got animals, like you've got your chickens and your ducks and your geese and your pigs and your goats and stuff like that, especially if your animals are going into lockdown, which they will be over here over the next couple of months, they'll be going into avian flu lockdown. They're going to get bored.
Yes.
Chuck them a pumpkin. Chuck them a pumpkin.
You were sitting there. You were sitting there saying ducks. You were saying ducks and geese and that. I was like, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Yes. That was exactly what it was like. That's exactly what it was like. My Italian parsley went crazy this year, so I made heaps of parsley pesto and parsley butter, all in the freezer now, ready for when I need it. Exactly.
Yep.
Awesome. Fantastic.
It's not about, so at least for me, from my perspective, when I have a conversation with somebody, and I know like Tiffany's a good example. Me and Tiffany talk quite often. Me and Lisa talked last night. It was about different things. But point being, we are in contact with others, and through the live streams. The point is it isn't so much about us notifying everybody of every sale that's out there, everything you can go get, because I know my grocery store is not like your grocery store, and they're two different totally things. But if I can say, hey, I've noticed that pork prices have come down, or carrots are, 20 pounds for $1.99. Theoretically, you guys will see somewhat of a similar type of thing. Absolutely. So be on the lookout for it. So it's all about us talking, like you were saying earlier, to get every one of us to know there's things coming our way and we need to watch out for them. So
look for working windmills that do grinding. They'll probably sell floor
later,
sweeping
Lisa.
Price for animal feed. That's what we did when we had chickens. That's brilliant.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Have to run. Ryan's home and it's hoof pig hoof trimming day. All right, darling, you have
Ooh.
fun. Give them big huggles for me. Yeah, go hit the likey thummy thingy, likey doodah, doodah day, right?
You know, there was in another conversation too. I was this is something I've been wanting to bring up, and I was going to do it on my show tonight, but I do want to talk about it here, if you don't mind. That is,
Crack on, mate.
there seems to be a separation in the community, and that separation is, you and I have this conversation quite often, doing things organically, and
Yeah.
what I associate myself to, as you do from my understanding, as Tiffany does, like I said, me and Lisa talked last night, so I know she does. I assume Annette is of the same way as well.
Yeah.
Doing things organically is what has to be done, because if you're not going to do it organically, you're not honestly in your heart going to grow the right way.
Yeah.
Your channel is not going to grow. Your information's not going to get put out to the right place. And I think it's very important to align yourself with those that have that mentality,
Yeah.
because it's about you, it's about a community, and it's about growing together, whatever that entails.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is as well, and Lisa said this on her live the other night. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes and she also said it on the 7Fs thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. The series, yeah.
Prepping is not always for long term.
No.
We're talking about prepping for right now, for what you need for the next 3 to 6 months, or even 12 months, if that's how much stuff you how much space you've got, to be able to do the next thing, to have one
Right.
less thing to worry about while you're doing it, you know. So if
For
you
me, the
if you're
level
able
of
to do
prepping,
one thing a week,
right,
or one thing a fortnight, or even one thing a month, that's more than the other person who can't do or isn't doing one thing a month, one thing a fortnight, one thing a week, depending on how often you get paid, right? So it's one thing, and it's just starting off with one little thing. And we're just talking about doing one thing. We're not talking about doing all of it, because it becomes overwhelming.
it
And if
will,
you're not used
and
to
you'll
doing
get
it,
tired of it really quick.
you'll just go, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. And that's it. And that's where we get the head banging going on. And we don't want that. All right.
I agree.
We don't want the head banging going on, because I have friends that have got so frustrated at the moment that their heads just can't cope. And they have gone back into the mode of when they were kids, and they have started hitting themselves in the head because they are that frustrated, because they can't cope, you know. And for neurodivergent people who are trying to struggle as adults to get their heads around doing all this stuff and trying just to survive on a daily basis, it is so much extra to take on, you know.
It
is so much extra to take on, and it's so much extra to compute, and it's a complete change, you know. So one little thing, I'm only ever going to tell you to start with one little thing. If you can go and buy a small holding and do all of that stuff, and you can go and do it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. You know, if you think you can
but
do
I
that,
mean, it's a constant adjustment, and I'll tell you what I mean, what I specifically mean by that.
Yeah.
A year ago was on all my shelves had to be full. I had to have this done. I had to have that done. And then we got to a point where money got a little tight, because we were trying to catch up on some other things that we had been neglecting. So that storage system kind of fell to the wayside. Here I am now. I'm buying 12 cans of this and 12 cans of that, but I'm doing one of those every payday. I'm not going out and spending $1,000 to refill a pantry.
Oh, God, no.
It's just get back into the groove. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you fall off, you get back on and you just go back to where you were. Nobody, I don't think, is trying to say you got to have a $5,000 or 5,000 pound filled pantry, because it's not economical for people to do that. Not only that, there's a rotation process. If you're not rotating that food and using it, you're wasting it, and it's waste of money.
Unless you've got a spare bedroom in this country, you ain't got the space Can I
No.
just say? It's
No,
not,
and
we
that's a good
don't
point.
have the space for outbuildings and root cellars and all of that kind of stuff. It doesn't happen. The
Right.
occasional house will have an air raid shelter still in the back garden. Very, very rare you'll find those these days. And you might be able to use that as a root cellar, but most people kind of use it as their hideaway from the kids. And I don't blame them for that. I would do that too. I would just have a shelf in there for the root cellar as well. But, you know, Annie did do this on her budgeting channel. And Annie, can I just ask you to put a link to your channel, to your budgeting channel, prepping on a budget channel? That would be great.
I don't know that she can because she's not a mod. She can't put the link up.
Okay.
Have her, Annie, email it to me. Let me know when it's there. I'll go grab it and then I'll put it in here for you.
Yeah. Small holding is my dream. Yeah. See, Al, a friend of mine put up my dream homestead. She put up my dream homestead. It's available right now in Wales.
Okay, hold on a second. Now I was gonna ask you,
and I had tears rolling down my face.
I was gonna ask you because I've seen that house somewhere before. Am I correct where I've seen that house before?
Well, I've drawn pictures of it most of my life. Yes.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I thought it was a house, or it reminded me of a house of a certain young girl who was YouTubing a journey her family was going on.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay, I just was
Very
checking
similar.
to make sure.
Yeah, very similar. It's not her house, no.
Okay.
Welcome back, darling. But yeah, no, this is an absolutely stunning property on 12 acres with loads of pasture land. There's shade. It's on a river.
Right.
Yes, we'd have to live in a yurt for a year to do up the house. We don't. Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares?
It's a yurt. But, you know, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And it's proper old school. And there's an old school Aga style cooker in there that does the hot water and everything. And yes, it's been abandoned for years, and you can see it's been abandoned for years. And it will probably take 5 years of running the wood fires and stuff like that to get the whole house to dry out again. But you know what? Don't care. I wouldn't care. I'd still do it. I would. I'd still do it.
Right.
But, you know, £425,000, and that is so cheap for property over here of that caliber. That's a £1 million property sitting right there.
Right.
£1 million property, easy. You know.
Think of. Okay, here we are on the dream mode, but think of the gardening and farming you could do on that property.
Oh, I already went through the pictures. I put an orchard there, and I do this there, and that would be my hayfield, and that would be this, and this would be that. Yeah, and I already decided that where there's a big hole in the roof, I'd put up loft ladders, and I would convert the entire attic, and that would be a big office space, and the outside barns would be this, that, and something else, and then I'd put this, that. Yeah, I did all that. I didn't. I sat there, and this is what I would do. Always wanted small holding. If I won the lottery, I could buy one, but could I physically do it? No, so I wouldn't buy one. So, okay. All right. Here's the thing. You don't have to go beyond what you're capable of doing to homestead or to have a small holding. Okay. You already have your allotment. Don't have the garden any bigger than the allotment. Simple. Only have animals that you can deal with. If you can't deal with them without help, don't have them. Simple.
Yep.
Thank you for that, Tony.
Yep.
That there is Annie's new prepping budgeting channel. So check it out, prepping on a budget. So check it out. You know, it's really cool. See, the thing is, if you have animals that you can cope with, all right. So say, for example, all you have.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. So, for example, all you have are chickens, ducks, and maybe a couple of turkeys, right? you can swap those with somebody who looks after pigs or sheep or cows, and swap some birds or some eggs or something else for what you want. Barter with them. You know, people will do that. They'll do it, you know. I never had anything I couldn't cope with. I never had anything that was bigger than me and that I couldn't cope with. I do want chickens. And yes, my health is not great. And yes, I am disabled. I am, you know. I do what I can. I don't do more than I can. I do. I do push myself quite a lot, actually. Winnie knows that.
Don't we all?
Tanny's forever telling me off for it. But you do what you can. And the more that you do, you actually find that your body goes, actually, I can do a little bit more today. Or today, all I'm going to do is feed the animals. I'm going to put my feet up for the rest of the day. There's no rules that say you have to be out there 24/7 if you have a small holding or a homestead. You do what you can in the way that you can do it, and you make the place work for how you are able to do things.
Right.
You know, I'm not as much as I would love to have Angus cows or black Welsh cows, which are gorgeous wee things. They'd knock me over. They wouldn't mean it, but I'd be over in a heartbeat.
Yep.
You know, that all they'd have to do is come running at me really, really quick and I'd be done. You know, I'd love to have a plough horse. I'd love to have, you know, a proper Clydesdale. Are you kidding? That thing would just take one look at me and go, fuck off.
No, that thing would go, and you'd be blown over.
I'd be done. You know, so they are not options for me. They would never be options for me.
Right. But the thing is that you can take what you have in front of you. And again, I'm using the same words, but there's a reason behind it. Modify, accommodate, improvise. There are things you can do to make things work the best you can. I live in town. I don't own my property. I rent. I can't have cows. I can't have this. I can't have that. So I modify and accommodate to do what I can do.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm constantly on the look to find a cheaper way to do it.
Yes.
But at the same token, it is what's there. And so I just have to move forward in doing what I can do. If I can't do it, it doesn't mean that's it. It's done. It's over. I can't do it no more. I still move forward. I just can't do that thing.
Do it the way that you can do it, you know?
Right.
How about a pig club like during World War II? Group of people buy a young pig, feed it in on their slops. Time comes, it's cut up into shares.
Cut up and share.
Kill it first.
Yeah. Usually that works a little better.
That kind of happens. You know, if I'm planting seedlings in our raised beds, I sit on a chair so I'm not bending over. Yeah, I have to sit on the floor at the moment.
Which is really funny though, when you go back to what Seeker said, is that most countries still do it that way.
Yes, they do.
It's the civilized countries that don't do it that way any longer.
Yeah, when you think about it, the civilized countries aren't that bloody civilized. I'm just
no. By society's definition, civilized. Let me put it.
No, I know. I'm still saying they're not very bloody civilized at the moment.
They're not. They're not.
I have 1 acre. I would love to have more, but we make it work with the garden, chickens and rabbits. Exactly.
Do what you can.
Yeah. Exactly right. So you make it work with what you've got, and that's okay.
Yep. And I'm here as well as I think Blue is at any time, and a good handful of people that are inside the chat too. If anybody has questions or ideas in the sense of, here's what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it, please reach out. If I can help you, I will. I know Blue will, and I know Tiffany will, and Annette will. And I don't want to speak for those that I don't know. So, but
I just wanted to touch on this with Annie. Watch Wartime Farm on YouTube and Wartime Kitchen and Garden on YouTube. Yes, but also watch Edwardian Garden or Edwardian Farm and Victorian Farm, because honestly, those shows have more information than people give them credit for.
Right.
Right?
Tiffany said she would help as well.
Yes,
So I mean, you have resources available to you. It takes you taking the step to reach out and ask the question. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And no question is a dumb question. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
So it's a funny story. I'm sitting here before you even said that, and I was like, this reminds me of the conversation I had with Blue last night about pasta. And she said those same exact words to me. No question is a dumb question. Because I thought it was going to be a dumb question.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, she's like, it's not a dumb question. It makes sense. If that's how you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the product. And it's like, okay, so I'm here to tell you, just as much as I'm telling you guys to reach out to us, I do the same thing and ask her. Last night, I asked her a valid question I needed help with, and she had the answer. So just because we're telling you to ask us doesn't mean we don't ask each other. That's all I'm trying to say. So
yeah. No question is a dumb question. Hold my tea. Seeker. Don't make me spank you in the not fun way. Behave yourself. Two of my favorite TV shows. Yeah, absolutely. I happen to have a little USB stick here that
Ashley.
That a Mr. Seeker brought over to me that just happens to have the entire lot on it, which is quite wonderful. Very few civilized folk on my allotment site. That's really sad. Really sad. You know? It is actually really sad, because you'd think that allotment people would actually group together and work together, but there's so many of them that just don't. And
I found it from where I sit as a humor thing, but now I get what you're saying, because I wasn't looking at it that way. But it's not just even on his allotment site. It's YouTube in general. I'll throw that out there. There are some very uncivilized people on YouTube.
Oh yes,
there is. And
there really is.
It's why I think I'm really trying to push towards a community that's there to help each other. I don't care how small you are. I don't care how big you are. If you got something you can help me with, then please help me.
Yes.
You know? Oh, and by the way, did I tell everybody that Blue is only 6 away from 500? I just want to make that very apparent to everybody.
Am I?
I think that's what it was. I don't have it up in front of me anymore. So, hello, Joyce.
Actually, it's 7.
Okay, so you're playing the game I was the other day, up and down,
up and down. I went down to 460, I think, the other day.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow.
And now I've had to build back up. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. We had her at 495 last night, but she's dropped 2 down. So
that
means we just got to get 20 to say yes, and then it'll put you over. So we'll be fine.
It's so cool.
Again, Joyce, that's what it's about. It's about helping each other grow and helping each other out with information, and just do what we can. So
yeah. Grow a giant pumpkin, hollow it out, and use it as a storeroom. Yep.
There you go.
Oh,
wouldn't that kind of make us?
And you're a big supporter of everybody, and we really do appreciate you telling.
Yes, definitely. Hollowing out giant pumpkins, though, wouldn't that make us like hobbits or Littletons or?
Was it Jack Sprat and his missus lived in a hollowed out pumpkin? I can't remember. Or maybe that was just a book that I read. I had it and it was an illustration. I don't know. I don't get all those channels that make fake videos. I just don't understand what they get from it. Nah, not me.
There you go.
I don't. Yeah. The numbers are false. None of it is as it seems. I've seen my comments that are positive vanish and likes drop and views go up. Ignore the numbers. Yeah. Look, I don't actually really worry about the numbers. To be honest,
It's me
I
pushing
never have.
it.
Ask Tony. He's like, you know, oh, you're nearly at this, and I'm like, am I?
Yeah, she does all the time. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And on tomorrow's episode.
Yes. Hobbits know a lot that we need to know. Yes, they do.
I agree.
Yeah. I have had comments disappear, and it's been weird. And that kind of thing has been weird. And that happened a lot when I was a much, much smaller channel. Like, I'm not a big channel now. But when I was under 300, we used to get quite a lot of that happening, actually.
It still does happen. I mean, I find that happening as well. So
yeah. Okay. I should be over 500 now. I am subscribed and I'm annoying enough to be told.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, you know, you know.
I love
Seeker
that.
has been my friend since I was streaming on Twitch. That's where we met. And he used to come and watch me do my work on Twitch because I used to do my artwork on Twitch a lot as well as play games. But yeah. Joyce is saying hello.
Hello, Joyce. Yeah, I got to work on my accent. It's not very good. Sorry.
No, it's really not very good at all. Don't do that again.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've been going now for over 2 hours.
2 hours and 11 minutes and 55 seconds.
And it's been a very exciting stream because there's been all sorts of weirdness going on. It's been great. And we had Danny from over at the Grapevine Garden, and he has said that he wants to come up and do this again sometime where we can do a gardening one, which would be really, really cool. I like this.
I did too. I just seen it. You are correct, my friend.
It really is. So that'll be really, really cool. We can look forward to that. We also touched on the possibility of doing a small space gardening collaboration.
Ooh.
Which might be a good fun one to do. Because I've been looking for a gardening collaboration to do. So we'll just see what we can come up with. Oh, good grief.
Can I throw something else out real quick?
Hiccups.
I think for channels that are looking to expand, don't limit yourself to just your genre. If you're a gardener, don't just do gardening. Expand out because it will help your channel grow to some degree. So I just want to throw that out there. That's good.
I'm not sure that he needs the encouragement.
Good day.
Is 1 acre a small space? No, darling. We're talking about little courtyards. Okay, so it would probably be like a courtyard space, probably no bigger than maybe 30 feet by maybe 20 feet. I think that's the kind of, obviously people are going to have smaller than that, but we need to put some kind of oversize on that and then see how much you can grow in that. But it would be a collaboration where you put out a video a month, I think, on it of what you're growing and where it's going and that kind of stuff and the way that you're using that space to do it. So, but it's going to take a little bit of thinking about, and I might have a wee chat to Danny and to Digwell Green Thinkers and see what they think we might be able to come up with.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, which would be actually really kind of cool. So even if you took a small space of the 1 acre small space and made it like into a small container garden or something, you could do that and see how much you can get from it. It could be really cool. So yeah, okay guys, we're going to wrap it up because you know, it's dinner time and my tummy is just going, hello, lady.
No, it's not. It's breakfast time. What are you talking about?
Don't start with me. If you want me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 o'clock in the morning, mate,
Yes, mate.
I need to go and have dinner.
Okay, go have dinner.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. That would be very cool. He's going to get his son, who's the same height as him, to go and stand at the back of the garden. And then he's going to have a picture of him at the front of the garden, and I can actually measure it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it would be cool. Yes, so we're going to take off tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock BST, which is Mr.
British Standard Time.
No, what is it in?
Oh,
where you live?
PDT, Pacific Daylight Time.
Yeah, what is it?
9 p.m. PDT.
Yeah,
US.
we're going to be on. Oh, for goodness sakes, his channel. You're in the wrong direction. We're going to be on his channel. Shooting the breeze over there.
Yep.
12 hours, basically in 12 hours time.
Yeah, you better get some sleep there, lady.
Yeah, just hop on over to Kettle Kitchen if you want to hang out later on.
Yep.
We'll see you guys later on. Thank you so much for being here. We love you so much and appreciate you. And we will see you again very, very soon. See you later,
Bye, guys.
Bye.